Hello and welcome to this nighttime taste challenge. We have two American rye whiskeys, and the first one is the oldest one, Old American Rye Whiskey brand, still around. This is Old Overholt Straight Rye Whiskey. It is now produced in Kentucky, but you can see the keystones on the borders. It was introduced in 1810 in Pennsylvania by Abraham Overholt. Okay, so that distillery is now closed. It's all run down and abandoned, and there's the rye grain below his face. It would be dangerous to tour that, but I saw a YouTube video where people were walking around in it unwisely. There's the red cap. This is the new 2022 edition, though. Aged 4 years, non-chill filtered, 86 proof. So they bought the company, moved all the operations to Kentucky, to the Jim Beam distilleries, and left the old Overholt, Pennsylvania distillery sitting there. Okay, that's the way it goes, you know. Okay, here's Sazerac Rye, a very famous one, introduced in 2006. So only 17 years ago. It's not that old. The Sazerac Company is old, but not this brand. They brought this out in 2006. They used to make a product called Old Superior Rye. And there was some other thing like something, I don't remember. I don't know if those are still made. I don't think they are. Okay, but whatever. This is produced in New Orleans, Louisiana, and in Frankfort, Kentucky, mostly in Frankfort, Kentucky. But they do produce it in New Orleans at the Sazerac House. I was watching them do it, and I tasted some of it. But it's mainly from Buffalo Trace, that distillery in Kentucky. It's 90 proof. There's no age statement. Some people say it's 6 years old. We don't know. There's a 17-year-old version, which you can't ever find. And then there's a Thomas Handy Sazerac Rye, which is extremely expensive. So if you can find those two specialties, you really found something. Now, I can still get this in Louisiana for $18.99 because somebody always has it on discount. But other states, people say they got to pay a lot for it. Okay. Perfect for the Sazerac cocktail. Which they talk about on the website. Gotta get my labels straight. I've got two other versions of the Old Overholt. I have the one produced up until 2020, the black cap, 80 proof, 3-year aged. And then the 2020 to 2022 red cap, 86 proof, 3-year aged, non-chill filtered. And now this current one, red cap, 86 proof, 4-year aged, non-chill filtered. If they come up with a newer edition, I think I'm going to skip it. I've had enough of it. It didn't really taste that different one to the other, but it's a little bit. Okay. That's a tight, pure cork cap. As you can see, real cork. No press board, particle board cork. No neoprene, no twist cap. All right. Oh, forgot to pour it. I don't remember where I bought the bottle. It was where whoever was having the sale that week. Seemed like the stores take turns putting it on sale. Like each week it'll be a different store with having it for $18.99. But it's never the same. It's never two different stores around here having it on sale the same week. That's an incredible coincidence, isn't it? Makes you think that maybe I won't say anything. All right. Now, rye whiskey, it has a following, but I mean, compared to bourbon, it's a small time type of liquor, small time type of whiskey, class of type of whiskey. The class is whiskey, class and type. There's different classes of liquor: gin, vodka, rum, whiskey is another class, and then there's types of that whiskey. Types of whiskey, obviously. Rye, wheat, the most famous one or most popular these days is bourbon whiskey, which is a corn whiskey, predominantly corn, must be by law. Canadian whiskey is another type. Irish whiskey is another type. Scotch whiskey is another type. And then there's a subcategory of rye whiskey called straight rye whiskey. And that's what this is. Both of these. Meaning they have to be aged at least 2 years in new charred oak barrels, which regular rye has to be also. And can have no flavoring or coloring added. If you look at the regular rye whiskey, just rye whiskey, rye, it can be aged any time, a year. I've got one that's aged a year and a day. It can have flavoring added to it, can have coloring added to it. This I know is a fact because I looked at the regulations. Bourbon, on the other hand, even if it's not straight bourbon, cannot have coloring or flavoring added to it. Cannot have coloring or flavoring added to it. Unless it's blended bourbon or unless it's a blend of straight bourbons. Or unless it's a specialty spirit called bourbon with natural flavors. So you say, well, there's a lot of exceptions to that rule, aren't there? Yeah, there's many. I don't make the rules. I'm simply a consumer. I don't produce products. So I don't even have to worry about the rules except that I want to be, correct in what I'm saying. Now I noticed that the Sazerac was a little darker, so I can't look down. I've got it wrong twice already. I got 2 old Overholts mixed with one another, and I mixed up the Bolete with the old Overholt, so that got me unhappy. Yeah, mild rye bread crust. I need to go buy some rye bread now. I just feel like I want to go buy rye bread, put some butter on it. My grandmother used to buy that sometimes. She'd buy all these whole wheat breads, like real expensive ones, and they were terrible to me. Like I thought they tasted like, looked like tree bark or something. And she was like, "Eat it, it's good for you." I was like, "I'd rather eat something unhealthy than this." My other grandmother, on the paternal side in Baton Rouge, this the one I'm talking about was in Metairie. Baton Rouge, she would only eat bunny bread, loaded with sugar, white bread, but it's got that doughy, soft, spongy, doughy consistency that no other bread has. It is unique, and it's good, but it's sky high expensive. But I used to like that, because you're a child, you want to eat stuff like that. All right. They used to have they have the bunny bread small, the bunny bread large. They used to have plantation, but after certain events of 2020, they decided all of a sudden, we're going to call it old fashioned. I really hate those kind of things that companies do. They're so smarmy with all of that. Apparently, bunny bread comes from Illinois, and it's licensed out to whoever makes it down in New Orleans. Always been the case, but and I don't think they ever had the plantation up north bunny bread version. Oh, it's just a bigger loaf with like thinner. It's like I don't know what it is really, but It's old fashioned now. Okay, this one has a more prominent aroma, a fuller aroma, a fuller nose, if you want to call it that. It smells like it's higher proof, 45% alcohol versus 86, 43. So that smells like 45 versus 43. Now that's not much of a difference. I get that. 43%, 45%, 2% out of 100 shouldn't make much of a difference. It does seem to make a little tiny difference. Yeah. Oh, but let's go with the taste, because I'm not really sure at this point. There's a lot of flavor in that sip. Full bore flavor. Now you might find it's too much flavor, too harsh, too strong, as people will say. That's too strong. I want something milder, they'll say. That's cool, because everybody has different preferences. It's always funny to me that you got whiskey, you know what I'm talking about, whiskey people. And they'll look down on anybody who wants a mild whiskey. 80 proof. Ugh, 80 proof. Oh, not me, you know. Mine's got to be barrel proof. I wouldn't drink an 80 proof. I wouldn't drink an 80 proof whiskey if my life depended upon it. You know, and they only drink like $150 bottles, you know. Oh, granddad is a whiskey made for vagrants. They'll wait in line in the cold to get the specialty. And I'm not putting that part down. I mean, that's fine. If you want to wait in line to get a specialty and pay $300 for it, that's cool. I mean, I don't mind that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not ridiculing that, because it's your money and you could do what you want. That's fine. I mean, I wouldn't do it because A, I'm not going to pay the $300, and B, I wouldn't want to wait in the cold for an hour at 5 in the morning. But that's not what I'm taking issue with. I'm taking issue with the people that's got a problem with other people. See what I'm saying? The people that have a problem with other people based on what they prefer to drink. You see, catch what I mean? No, I mean, like they say, well, I like a mild rye like Old Overholt. It's very mild. If you want to say it's bland, that's cool. But I like it. It's mild, mellow, and it's easy going, and it's less than $20, and that's what I like. It's the people that's got a problem with it. Like they got to lecture you. They got to tell you something. Like you got to know something. You know, why are you always telling me something? Like I got to know something, you know, like, let me teach you about rye. You know, you don't want to drink an 80 proof rye. I was like, yeah, I do, because I like it. I used to be like that with beer, you know, like in 1996, 97, when I started drinking regular beers. I was like trying to be like an apostle, you know, like a missionary out there, telling people in my family, like, oh, don't drink Coors Light. It's too bland. Try this beer. It's got more flavor. Well, guess what? They didn't want to try it. They didn't care. You know, you don't need to evangelize me about a porter or a stout, because I'm not trying to drink that. So eventually I gave up and I said, you know what? Maybe there isn't anything wrong if they want to drink a light beer. Maybe they like it. Like maybe they don't have to explore the world of beer. Just because I like to do it. And I like to do it. And I like to do it with beer, wine, you know, beer, wine, and liquor. But other people don't. They just get latched onto a brand, like they like their Jack Daniels, and they ain't going to deviate. And there's no use even trying to nag them about it, because you're going to probably make things worse. Now, my father, when he could drink, because he's got too many health issues, takes too much medicine now. But when he would drink, he would kind of like to try stuff. Now, he would try it. He would say bad things about it, usually, like, you know, some foul liquid drained through a dirty sock, whatever. But at least he would try it. And I think he was exaggerating. And he, even now when I drink a specialty beer, he'll say, let me smell it. Oh, it smells terrible, you know, but he'll want to smell. So But the rest of the family, like, no, they don't want to try. All right. And as far as whiskey and liquor, not, they wouldn't deviate from that. They were going to drink Tanqueray, and that's it. No other gin needed to exist. But back to this, it has a fuller flavor. I personally prefer the fuller flavor, which I think that's coming from Sazerac Rye. It's not bitey, like, really. It's not. Neither one of these is bitey, but this one is a full flavor. If you want to say a strong flavor, okay, I'll go along with that. It's a strong flavor. So maybe it's designed so it'd be diluted down in a cocktail. Maybe that's why they made it like that, so you could dilute it in a cocktail. It wouldn't come across so strong. You make your Sazerac Rye cocktail. Okay, go listen to the radio show that comes on once a week in New Orleans called Tales of the Cocktail. And I think they have a television show now, right on like the educational, public channel thing. But I have no interest in cocktails, so I don't watch it or listen to it. Old Overholt, you could use it in a cocktail, I suppose. But to me, it seemed like it'd be too low profile. And you say, well, I just want it as a base. Yeah, but why? If you're using it as a flavorless base, why even paying $19.99 for Old Overholt? Why don't you just buy some cheap vodka? Find one that doesn't have any flavor. They got them out there. Taco doesn't really have much flavor. It's cheap. Just make the cocktail with it. I don't know. I'm not lecturing you. I'm just saying, if you're not going to get anything out of it, why pay for it? It's like paying for nothing, To me, it is pleasant to sip. It's like mildly spicy. It's mellow. It's mild. It's moderate. It's, like a medium body. It's just very pleasant, very soft. Some people might say bland and dull. Well, yeah, a little bit. But I like it. And I would give it a good score, and it'd be in the A range. Lower side of A. Like it could come in at 93. Getting into the mid range, but it's nothing spectacular. You wouldn't want to go run it down, which in my case you wouldn't have to because it's right there at Walmart. Except they don't have this one at Walmart. They still got the 3-year age. They're not going to get this until they sell out of that. And they might sell one bottle a month. See what I'm saying? Rye whiskey's not really popular, so maybe in a year they'll order some, but they're just not going to do it. I'm telling you, they're not going to order that. I mean, they might order when they get down to like 4 bottles, something, but they're not going to. And they're not going to rotate it either. They're just going to stick it on the shelf and push the 3-year-old to the back. So that's how you can find older products if you go to a place like Walmart. They're just going to stick it on there. Do any stores rotate? Okay, very nice. Very nice. Now, Sazerac, even nicer. You get to about a 95 on this one. Funny thing is, I got that Johnny Walker Blue Label. It scored a 95. But it was $242 after tax. This one was what? $20.50, $21 after tax. Oh no, it was like $20.50 after tax. Yeah, I'd rather pay about $21 for an A, 95 out of 100, than pay $242 total for a whiskey that scores an 8. So no, I was not happy with the Johnny Walker Blue Label. I mean, I was happy with it. It tastes wonderful, and I don't see how you could say something negative about it. But on the other hand, the price is just not nice. But I kept hearing about it like every day, so I had to try it. I mean, if I'm paying that kind of money, that'll score above 100. Like, it shouldn't even be 100. It should be above 100. It should be better than perfect. Better than perfect, but it wasn't. It wasn't even perfect. It wasn't even outstanding. It was just most excellent. An A, not an A+. Okay, that's a problem. That's a problem. Now, I bought the 2023 Bourbon County brand stout from Goose Island. Came in at a 98. Video will be posted pretty soon. 98. And I paid $11.99 for the bottle. So it better be a 98. And it was. And I was happy with it. Wouldn't go out and buy a bunch of them. But it lived up to its, its billing, its potential. Lived up to its potential. Or as Peter LaFrance would say, it met expectations. That's got to be the Sazerac. And it's the clear and present winner. Got it. So, funny thing is, in Louisiana, they're the same price. Sazerac Rye and Old Overholt Rye are like literally the same price if you can catch Sazerac Rye on sale. And if you look through the ad papers, you say, well, I don't get the paper. Well, look online. Look at the Rouse's, Bromart, Winn-Dixie. Well, they'll never have it cheap. Forget that. Rouse's, Bromart, what's the other one? Rouse's, Bromart, Zupardo's. Yeah, Rouse's, Bromart, and Zupardo's sales ads. And you're going to notice one of them's going to have it for $18.99. And Total Wine's got this regular price for $18.99. So you're paying the same price, but you're getting one is a lot better. To me. All right, so the winner, Sazerac Rye. I'm not saying that because their headquarters is in New Orleans, 31 miles from here. I'm saying it because it tastes better. And I like both. Now, tomorrow, Tuesday, the plan is to do Old Overholt. Now we're going to Canada because I'm finished with the American ryes that I've got. I don't think I overlooked anyone. We're going to go to Canada, but we're going to stay in-house with Sazerac. Since I just did a Sazerac, we're going to do another Sazerac. But this is from Sazerac Canada, from their distillery, which they claim they're going to give tours soon. But they've been claiming that for years now. So, I mean, when's the tours going to start? Not that I'm going to be running up to Montreal to go see them make whiskey. But it's called Canadian Hunter Rye. And that's one of those they bought from Seagram's in 1989. Now, I don't know if they had a rye for Canadian Hunter in 89, but they bought the rights to Canadian Hunter. So they introduced the rye. It's called Hunter Rye. It's got the same bottle design as Canadian Hunter with a little different color scheme. And it's a rye whiskey. And yeah, it's pretty good, but it's kind of like Old Overholt, kind of bland in a way. But I got it for $11.99, full-size bottle. $11.99, what a deal. At Liquor Warehouse in Arlington, Texas, on Texas Highway 180, formerly United States Highway 80, westbound. Well, that is a warehouse. They got some great deals over there if you shop around. All right. Well, next time I go to Arlington, yes, I'm going to stop there. All right. Take care, y'all. So the winner, Sazerac Rye.